All right, here we are, ladies and gents. Welcome, and welcome. We've got two players, mid 700 elos here, or as we call low elo legends, and 700 elo. While it isn't quite as crazy as maybe the super low guys can bring us, you have a level of consistency combined with a lack of maybe skill or knowledge, which is quite fun. So normally I end up here. On the blue, we've got the Mongols, which is, I think, the best civ on this map, or one of them, for Norman Xavier 454. And then in the red, we have the Japanese for CaptOblivious, which is one of the reasons I joined this game, because I kind of like that name and feel like it might be suited here for low elo legends. Quick little intro to Yucatan. Yucatan, you have 3 boars, which is what makes Mongols fantastic, and then lots of hunts. Again, makes Mongols fantastic with the 40% faster hunt. Could see a big argument for Japanese here, though, because there might be a lot of areas you want to mill or place mining camps. So in this case, you could just place 1 mill, but mills are cheap with Japanese. So mill there. Just good drop-off points for your food and good flexibility economically. That, however, is kind of the main thing with Japanese on just a land map. If it's water, you start to talk about fish. So I suppose we could possibly see some fishing on these ponds. But I do worry for Japanese because they are just relatively generic as far as units are concerned. They don't have like any crazy strengths, but their economy is a strength. They've got fully upgraded archers that they can work with, combined with really good infantry. And actually, the last time I saw this matchup was low elo legends, and Japanese won. But I think towers, skirmishers, halbs, just a whole lot of stuff, you know? So yeah, we're hanging out here. Let's see how these guys choose to play it. There's boar number 1 for Norman. Let's see how the execution looks. Looks here. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. Not bad. Not bad. Little garrison here. No. Okay, cool. Boar's dead. And all the turkeys are collected here for the time being, I'm noticing. Can you imagine if Red were to scout this? Just like stroll into your opponent's base and just leave with 11 turkeys. I wouldn't suggest leaving the turkeys so far from the TC in most cases, but I think Blue has probably accidentally killed turkeys so many times that Blue's just like, keep them away. Get them away from me. Other interesting thing to talk about Acropolis is... Or why do I keep saying Acropolis? Did I say that already? Sorry, Yucatan. We covered Acropolis earlier. Is that there's not actually a lot of neutral gold. So there's just 2 neutral golds. And so you see that here and here. And then you only have 2 gold spots at your base. So you might think Yucatan and think, oh, it's a closed map. Oh, I can be defensive. Oh, this goes super late. And it might go late game. But there's limited gold compared to other closed maps. Or other maps in general. So I guess maybe that evens out because you've got more food to work with, which could lead to earlier attacks. Devin says, Japanese have the best halbs in the game. What are you talking about? They get 33% more attack speed. That means 33% more bonus damage that goes through armor. Okay, we found the Japanese fan. Yeah. But it's not... Halberdiers still are extremely vulnerable against good ranged units, right? And in particular, like, good siege and good ranged units can be a problem for the Japanese to deal with at times. Like, I just think Mangudai Hussar, Japanese, you're thinking of a good combinational thing, and you're like, maybe like Samurai Skirmisher. It's harder to find a unit on the Japanese tech tree that has a lot of mobility or a lot of HP or a ton of damage output. Obviously, halbs are a bit situational, right? But in the game that I had seen... which was, I think, a low elo game. What we saw was really good economy from the Japanese player, which is so nice because of their flexibility early. And then just massing and combining a lot of infantry with a couple other things. Did Red not find these? Oh my goodness. Guys, there are 9 turkeys that Red has not found. That's almost 1,000 food. Oh man. Could be a problem. I mean, I guess it's not a problem because you still have so much food elsewhere, but these turkeys need to be found here, Red. I guess red maybe assumes that that's it for now. Like, I've got the food. I don't need anything else. Would you make Japanese champions? Well, the champions can also be fantastic, but champions are still a big issue against range. Like, basically, and specifically this matchup, I'm worried that if Mangudai come out, the Japanese might not be able to counter it easily, right? But Mangudai are also extremely expensive. And so the theme here is Japanese flexible. Japanese can mass a lot of units and kind of get the ball rolling before those strong units later on. So Blue's turkeys are currently in the trees. Blue just says, I'm going to take the deer for now and the berries. Blue's going to be in feudal age here shortly. Blue, I guess maybe located red. Didn't see the mining camp, but might have an idea that the enemy's here because of the gold. And then, okay, red did find a line of turkeys and is currently being attacked by a jaguar here. And is also extremely unfortunate because blue just ended up wandering over here. But blue wasn't paying attention to that in that moment. So villager survives. And I think we're going to see an archer play here from red because red saw this hunt. Knows the enemy's there. Also going to try and manage bringing in a boar right now. So that's good. Good food income there. But red's trying to manage a lot of things right now. A lot of different factors playing into this game. And oh my god, the turkeys. You could kill the turkeys with the scout. Blue saw that, though. Those turkeys were like, no, we want to die. But we want to at least be, useful in death. So we will cling closer to the villagers that are slaughtering us and our friends near the mill. Oh my god, what? Okay. Well, when I saw this barracks had produced army, and I saw feudal age, the common play is to see, infantry into archers. But that's not happening. And I'm way more excited about this game than I thought I would be, because CaptOblivious still has, like, the wall of turkeys here, but is going to try and make army here and then stone wall this? I mean, if the roles were reversed, you'd maybe say, oh, blue is oblivious, right? So he's not going to notice this. But no, red, you're the oblivious one. Also, I'm wondering if he could possibly get units trapped back here. I mean, there's a real chance. I think there might be a hole there, though. This is so funny. This is hilarious. Just casual walling between the opponent's mill and lumber camp. And who's oblivious now, blue? Okay, 2 militia show up. Okay, militia are attacking. They're not upgraded. They're not man-at-arms. So I'm struggling to get too excited about this. There's a lot of stuff at home, actually. But okay, the villagers notice they're not happy about this at all. And I think for red, this whole strategy is kind of failing now. In fact, I'm very concerned because, well, hold on. Kills a vill. All right, it's even. Japanese attack speed. Let's go. But I'm very concerned because blue does have scouts. And blue might move out with those scouts at some point. But, now blue's got to ask some questions and, like, what does this mean? Like, what happens now? Is there going to be another villager coming forward? And red maybe thinking, well, at least I have some defensive army now. Let's maybe send our turkeys to the middle of the map. Is this a donation to the enemy so they no longer attack you? Is this an apology? CaptOblivious is... He's very confusing. But blue, don't wall up yet. You need to accept the gift. Oh, he doesn't know the gift is on the way. He didn't receive the message from the carrier pigeon. What are you doing? Oh, guys, he's giving the... Oh, my God. He doesn't want the opponent to hide. So he's giving them food so the opponent stays next to the mill. And blue's like, I'm not falling for that crap. No siree. I'm walling these out. What was that? It's one thing if you don't want to eat the turkeys. Cool, you know, you don't celebrate Thanksgiving. I get it. But you don't want to give the opponent food. That's just crazy. All right, so big scout mass over here for blue. This game's already delivering. And red can't see that scout mass. Red has man-at-arms now. Didn't have it before. Does have Japanese infantry at home to defend. The spearmen will be very helpful. Now, these will be bloodline scouts, so they're very strong. But in theory, the infantry can defend from all this. I'm just concerned because scouts are so much faster that it might not work out. But yeah, anyways, lots on stone right now for blue. So blue's thinking Mangudai eventually. And has played very defensive, especially since red has shown some awkward aggression. And normally you're thinking about Castle Age next. And here comes blue. Blue's trying to find the enemy. And I guess didn't realize earlier that this would mean the enemy's here. But did scout everywhere else and is now going to show up. And you got to expect a couple villagers go down here at least, right? Oh, God, because red is over here now with the spears. Okay, blue shows up. Is really giving red some time to react here. And now attacks. And that's when the attack signal should be going off. And this is where we should see some type of reaction from red. And we do. Villagers are being garrisoned. Good work from red. Could be so much worse than this. And now blue sees that there's infantry. And I'm curious how much of a nerd blue is. Is blue still going to run around? Is blue going to, leave because he sees a counter army? Blue sees that villager, and he basically said, please don't. And they said, that's fine. And then blue leaves. So blue doesn't want to leave the scouts. Okay. So let's check red's collected this game, because it's Mongols on this map, right? Look at that. Red has actually collected more food and more wood, despite donating the turkeys. A little bit of advice here for blue, though. You don't want to spread your units out like that. It does... I guess it's tricky, right? Because it does actually help you get more vision because you've got, greater surface area covered. But you kind of want all your units to be close to each other when you engage. But I like this from blue. See, this is why he ran, because he wants to spread. He wants to try the other side now. He's really making red work on the defense. And you could actually fight that off with that many scouts, but blue really doesn't want to. And blue now encounters the additional turkeys that CaptOblivious didn't want to eat earlier. And we are seeing red try and wall up the flanks. And I think red will get those walls down. And red's certainly going to have the infantry to defend from the scouts. Like, red is playing it super safe. Keeping the infantry here and then keeping the infantry here. In Feudal Age, blue now has 900 stone. So by the time blue makes it to Castle Age, I can only imagine what the stone count's going to be. Maybe getting a little bit ahead of himself there with the stone, but I think the thought process is there. We've had some awkward aggression from both sides. We've got some good map control, good scouting. It's a close game here, and I'm excited to see what it turns into. And red's going to continue to finish the walls here. Blue is... now having a conversation with the turkeys. This is the most, low elo... well, okay, it's not the most low elo legend game ever, but this is a wonderful low elo legend game. I hope people are enjoying this. We had the attempt at creating a wall for the enemy. We had the complete neglect of the turkeys. And of all the places that blue would show up, blue, of course, shows up here. Red will see the opponent that has archer ranges here. Hasn't really moved around with that scout, though, so I doubt red's even paying attention to that. And they're both just trying to macro. And holy macro for CaptOblivious. He might be oblivious to the archer ranges. He might have been oblivious to the turkeys. But he's looking pretty good. Honestly, he's just missing a building, which he's now building. And if he cancels a couple of vills, he'll be up to Castle Age faster. But Norman's going to use the market. And Norman actually kills that scout now from red. And we will have maybe 1,500 stone in the bank when Norman makes it to the next stage. Talk about the Mongol dream. Okay. You could do a lot with these resources if you're both players, both in upgrades, but also with units. But, I mean, Red has shown no urgency in this game. He's taking his time. Farming away. These are going to be fast imp resources for Red. Because Red has, what, 25 farms? By the time Red's in castle, Red's going to have 1,000 food again. And what are we going to see with all this food? Well, we're going to see man-at-arms. I so badly want to see a siege tower. That would be epic. Also, no. Don't build the barracks there. You're going to trap your dude in. Who's building that? Who's been given the order? Please. Okay, okay. Never mind. Red's on it. Big old spearman man-at-arm attack over here. Japanese infantry hype. And blue is going to realize I need archers and is going to make the archers. Does have fletching on archers already. That will be hugely effective. And then, of course, you could have Mangudai. Do Japanese get Gambesons, guys? Can someone tell me it's the new tech that gives extra pierce armor? I think they do. But what we've seen is Gambesons is extremely helpful in, like, trash scenarios. It doesn't seem like it adds enough pierce armor to still be good against, like, archers, right? Which is good, by the way. I know some people were like, wow, infantry meta. If longswords were worth it every single time, the knight and crossbow balance would probably be broken, right? It is a situational unit still. It's sometimes that situation is what civ you have, like maybe Japanese or Burmese, good civilizations in that regard. Or, you know, when your opponent's gone heavy pikemen or heavy skirms or is in late game. Okay. We have 1,700 stone for Norman. Norman's in the castle age. Just click the crossbow upgrade. It's going to have that in a moment. Are we going to see a forward castle here? What did Red see in this area earlier? Okay, can see the villagers have finished the stone. I see villagers leaving now. Supplies is on the way, which will make the militia line cheaper. Which kind of makes the amount of infantry that Red already made look like a bit of a waste. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's definitely something you want to get at this point. It's not like you were spending ridiculous amounts. And okay, Red will be able to see that Blue's making a castle there. And Red is going to make a castle here. And Blue says, you know, this castle's not enough. I'm going to even get more stone for another castle. But it has a combination of scouts and then also crossbow. The crossbow alone should be able to deal with this. We'll see how it goes. Red, clearly a big fan of infantry. Even adding a siege workshop, which I'm hoping is for a siege tower. But I don't think siege towering over here would be very wise. Look at the micro from Blue. Ran in, saw the army from Red was still there. And even microing very well here. This is why you normally need to have something other than just infantry. Because ranged units are going to be problematic. This barracks will eventually go down. There's 7 units in there, which might die. I don't even know if Red noticed any of this. And I'm worried for Red, but Red's going to queue up some skirms here and bring over what infantry is available for now. And, you know, skirmishers with good upgrades can be a good unit here. You know, it just committed a little bit too heavy to the infantry, or at least made it too obvious, right? Good job from Blue to switch into a unit that counters the infantry so well. Doesn't seem like Blue is really that in love with the Mangudai, right? It definitely feels like a unit when I play with the Mongols that is a must-get to. And we are going to see Samurai as well for CaptOblivious. And maybe the Samurai go for a bit of a raiding party or something. I don't know. But you need upgrades. This is why Siege is your best friend when you're in a panic scenario. You drop a Siege Workshop, and then you make a Mangonel, and boom, you've got your answer. Instead of needing to wait for a lot of units to mass, and then clicking the Elite upgrade, and then the Blacksmith upgrades. Siege could give you a quick turnaround. But it feels like Blue just basically said, I don't want to attack stone walls forever. Like, that's kind of silly. Let's go somewhere else. And we have murder hose for CaptOblivious. Okay. And blue didn't know about that castle. Blue probably isn't paying attention to this, and that could lead to all the light cap going down to the castle fire. So blue now is probably like, well, crap. That castle's kind of frustrating for me. What do I even do? Also, it looks like a lot of the units died here underneath blue's castle. Blue's castle has 3 kills. Some of the units escaped to tell the tale. An interesting game. I'm still really liking red's food count. Like, red has done a great job there. Look at the amount of farming eco. And blue is finding it increasingly difficult to find any significant damage, and is given red time to mass skirms, which could eventually be the answer to this. Longsword raid on the wood line. Not something you would have expected when you saw the castle go up. But where are they even going? I don't know. But anyways, they're dead. And crossbow and light cav trying to raid. Red reacting with basically everything. Red could absolutely clear this. Red's got so much army. Blue's on the way to the Imperial Age, though. Is behind by 12 villagers. Finally, Bodcanero on the way for red. Still no elite skirmisher. Red has really not mined a lot of gold this game. I think it's been 2 on gold for as long as I've been paying attention to it. And if you don't have armor as well on skirms, they will still die to crossbows. Don't have the elite upgrade. There's just, again, so many steps, right? So that's why adding a Mangudai with the pikeman can be more useful. But yeah, blue microing his heart out, which means he can't focus on his economy. And in the end, you can only micro for so long before you just have to give up on focusing on this and look at other things. I actually think this is all a good trade for blue. Look at the KD this game. You forced red into a lot of different units, and you got good value from all that, all things considered. But what next here for you, blue? You're on the way to the Imperial Age. No Mangudai yet. It's crazy to me. That would be your unit. Red seems to really enjoy the generic units, and that's what Japanese thrive on. I can make archer range units or barracks units. They come home behind these walls because they're terrified of life after that experience. Some good people died on this day. Another castle now for blue. I'm going to assume blue wants to treb this down, and that's going to be his target. Red still hasn't clicked up to imp yet, and red's going to bring villagers this way. If I had to guess, I would say this is going to be a castle drop. The samurai were chilling here for a while. And okay, so the samurai move aside. They found the spot, the villagers were called, but not the timing for a forward castle, right? Because you want to be an imp with a forward castle. That's the goal here. And, oh, red clicks imp. Okay. Not bad. Jim says, how would you feel if you fully walled an area of the map, you get full vision in that area? No, I think the way vision works now is fine. Vision is really good as is. I think that would be quite silly, actually. Like, imagine someone sneaks a villain and is making an army behind your walls because you've gone with walls, and then you just suddenly see it, even though you've done nothing to scout it. I wouldn't like that. All right. I mean, blue knows about this castle, and now this is an invitation to treb down, so that's going to be a waste. So that castle will go down. It might give red time. Blue up to 61 villagers now. We're going to see an additional town center over here. Update on the turkeys. Red still has 3 turkeys here and 3 turkeys here. Something I'm sure they're not thinking about. But don't worry, I follow the action. And we've got longswords. And we've got samurai and pikes and skirms. But still big questions over how you stop Mangudai. And even if blue will make Mangudai, as we do have Gambeson's research there, which gives extra pierce armor to the longswords. Red has the right idea if he's scared of Mangudai, because you want to force the Mongols player to... But you want to contest the castles. You want to try and take out those castles. But it was blue who had the control, because blue had some more mobility. Played with some offensive units instead of just infantry. And probably an area you're just going to have to give up, Red. It doesn't look like he's planning on repairing this at all. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Dream map for Mongols, dream scenario now for Blue. Because that's a castle you're going to take down from your opponent. You still have your castles up and you can make the Mangudai. It takes time and it takes upgrades on those Mangudai. And something tells me Red isn't going to go away quietly. Red's finally getting the elite skirm upgrade. So the skirms in this ball are going to be upgraded. And then he still has some forward production buildings here. Blue has played very compact this game. Even more compact than Red. Never really came out to this stone. Alright, I guess a couple villagers just died there, but... Even still, remember at one point he could make 3 castles? I'm not really sure what happened. It seems like he's been, you know, a little scared to move out. Also, I don't think he'll ever freely go this way because he walled that and then Red kind of walled part of it as well. So I think all the movement for him is going to be this direction. And that should give Red an opportunity to surprise Blue with Trebs here. I think it should. It looks like the pathing is extremely awkward right now for Blue. The ballistics is on the way. Resources for elite Mangudai are there. I don't know, man. I just have so little faith in Japanese, which maybe I had made obvious in my commentary at the start. Just they do not have any super strong units in the late game. It's about getting that mass down and using all that eco and flexibility early. If that doesn't happen, you start asking some big questions about the Japanese at this stage of any game. The Mongols, one of the toughest civs, I think, for the Japanese to deal with in post-imp as well. Another one might be Britons. I mean, the list might be, you know, longer than that, but... Mangudai and Siege, hard for Japanese to stop, and then lots of longbows and trebs, very difficult. Because Britons have the superior trebs there. But, okay, Red, don't trickle treb. Like, this is bad for you, okay? But we haven't seen any heavy siege yet from Blue. Don't show 2 trebs yet. Just wait till you have a few more. Okay, he's going to go with 2. He's adding the 3rd, though. Blue's Mangudai are elite now. Few armor upgrades missing. Still going to do crazy damage, though. But Blue needs the castles, guys. And again, like, the issue with the Mongols, if there was one, is that you do rely on needing those castles. And look at Blue. He's like, oh, I could take trebs. I have a bonus versus siege. Let's go do that. And Red says, sup, buddy? How you doing? I've got skirms here. You didn't see me. And bam! Blue's losing so many Mangudai for this. Does lose the castle. Does take the trebs. And that Mangudai ball that was so big and deadly a second ago, not so deadly now. Now, what Mongol players will do at a high level is they'll switch into Hussar. But you switch into Hussar, then there's a conversation where, well, Japanese pikemen attack super fast. So that's kind of an issue there too. And you might need siege, and you can tell Blue's kind of like, this red guy's just got so many different things. No, the turkeys! Save the turkey! Don't let it die. Come on, Blue, save it. Oh, it's a red turkey. Okay. Good job from Red to recover here. There are players who pick civilizations for its peak, like Mongols, and there are players who pick civilizations for just how good overall it is. Next turkey goes down. Sad times. Red, obviously the player who prefers to have a civilization who's more well-rounded. Also, Red, why are we attacking a castle with skirmishers right now? Was this an intentional move? Was it a misclick? Okay. Well, of Blue's 100 kills, 40 of which have come from this castle now. So that's interesting. I think he was maybe looking at the trebs. Maybe adding some houses at home. Would love to see more blacksmith upgrades researched from both players. And I'd like to see Blue expand. Like, Blue didn't really expand much this game. Did scout, but isn't on this gold. Only has 1 villager on this stone. But Onager, whoo! That's pretty crazy for a guy who's no gold. Something we mentioned earlier, right? Is there's not as much gold on Yucatan. That's a Peruto! Let's go! So we got some cool siege potential now. So Mongol siege after drill, which we probably won't see be affordable here, is faster. And then Cataperuto Trebs, they pack and unpack faster. And look at this from Red. He actually sees it. He says, later, fool. Oh, wait, did Blue even know? I think he might have. Oh, God. Who's the fool now? Oh, he doesn't have Cataperuto yet. Pack faster! Ah! Roll away! Roll away! Okay. Well, good overall play from both players there. Red only loses one Treb. Blue only loses one Onager. This Treb is out in no man's land, though. Let me tell you. No golden come whatsoever for Blue. And Red's just been like, I'm not even really spending gold. I'm saving my gold. I've just made skirms and pikes. And then he's spending gold on Samurai, probably because they just look cool. And then Trebs. That is a gutsy spot for a Trebuchet. But then again, I'm still not, like, we're still not seeing upgraded skirms yet from Red. It feels like how far it takes for players to leave their base with whatever it is has been a problem for both. Again, Samurai look cool. They're not good against Mangudai, especially when they're not elite and lack upgrades. Going in for a Treb, though, with it. Red, if you build that castle, I swear to God, do not build that castle. Abort mission, please. What are you doing? CaptOblivious here is apparently oblivious to the fact there's Mangudai. The name is accurate. Takes the Treb, but don't lose your castle foundation, my friend. You're stressing me out here, please. Getting some upgrades, though, guys. Getting a bracer, getting chemistry. Don't lose the stone. Don't lose it. Please. Okay, deletes it. It's fine. I never doubted Red. I'd like that to be clear. When I look at CaptOblivious, I think this is a player who makes all the right decisions all the time. Nothing to be worried about. This is a player who's definitely going to make more archer ranges and definitely going to make more barracks here in a moment. That's what I think. Because we are working off of one barracks, one archer range on the front currently. Castles have proved to be really important for both players. And we have ourselves a game, and we have ourselves a lot of gold for Blue. And Blue sold all wood and also all food. Wow, that shot up to 2,600 gold now. And is going to make a Treb behind some more Mangudai here. Okay, Treadmill Crane right now for Captain Oblivious. Now, this is kind of an awkward spot for Blue, because this castle's close enough to the castle from Red where he has to pay a price if he comes in here. And that's a pretty heavy price. Like, you've lost quite a few Mangudai. Still would be nice if Blue used the skirmishers, but there could be onagers as well. More villagers on the way. This archer range ejects the skirms. Mangudai show up. Skirms are here now, though. And Blue might see those skirms. Doesn't care, though. Takes out the villagers first. Now backs away. More villagers are needed now to finish this castle. It's a heavy micro battle in this area of the map. The onagers are still attacking the castle foundation. Now they're not. Now they're not. And the skirms are dead. We have a Treb from Blue. But we have Trebs from Red. And Blue really wants to kill those Trebs, but the Mangudai are all going to go down. These things have unpacked. They hate the church. Prioritizes the monastery first. This is an interesting choice. Okay, church has gone down. More villagers from Red. Lots of commitment towards this. And we're going to see a castle there. But this castle's going to go down. So also some panic time to repair this. And we have lots of stone being purchased now. It is only one Treb for Blue, so Red actually has been able to manage this quite nicely. This castle will probably build, and these Trebs will probably take out Blue's Treb. And CaptOblivious just won't go away, guys. He's just so stubborn. Mangudai's dead. Treb is dead. Archer range is going to go down. Onagers useless. These villagers getting chased down. They're going to die too. Like, holy crap, he's actually doing it. And this is what you want against the Mongols. You want to force a fight with Trebs against their castles. And Blue has just found it incredibly awkward to use the mobility. Anytime he showed up to Red's base, Red has had some form of defense. And what a back and forth game. What a flawed game, right? Many different things that players could do, but that's Lowy the Legends for you, right? You never know how it's going to swing. You can kind of see what they're going for at this elo as well. So Blue just says, I'm sick of this. Like, I don't even want my units to be able to leave here because this is really bad for me. But I think that this is only going to get worse if Red just advances forward with the Trebs. And actually, we have more archer ranges now, and it really feels like Red is feeling it now. So Blue is going to go Arbalest. So maybe thinking, like, I can't use Mangudai as my range unit anymore because I'm going to lose my castles. Not the best of signs. Also, red. Please make sure your Trebs are underneath your castles here. Oh, boy. Okay, big micro battle. Oh. Shifted the Trebs. Shifted the Trebs after the Onagers. Okay. Well, you still got one. You know, lesson learned. This is fine. 100 pop for CaptOblivious. 111 for Blue. Blue no golden come. Both players using the market. And Blue really needs to get this Treb. And naturally, Blue's going to get the Treb. Wow, what a back and forth game. Now, Red did not scout this gold earlier. Blue did scout this gold. So Blue knows about that. That is an option for Blue. Blue is very tunnel visioned at the moment because of all the aggression. Oh, and oh man, I think Blue's Treb can hit Red's castle from up on this hill. Oh, that's such a tough spot to contest. Especially if Blue were to wall this right here. Just like make a couple walls. So, both players with some epic castle saves, right? Red probably thinking what went wrong a moment ago. Now, you see, guys, you see how fast the skirmishers are dying? That is not just because of Mangudai being good. It is because what makes skirmishers good is their pierce armor. They have 4 base pierce armor in Elite Skirm. But 4 pierce armor versus 12 damage, or like Arbalest, which would have 10 damage, it's not enough in him. So you get the armor upgrades, and then they're tanking more shots, and then they survive, and then they're doing more damage. So it's not just the attack upgrades you need on skirms, it's also the defense. A lot of people forget about the defense. They just prioritize the attack, and then they have problems. And what a great job from Blue. I really thought Blue was going to lose this. And now I'm thinking, like, Blue's been able to take some initiative back. But now I don't know. Because actually, this skirm is going to take out this freaking Treb. It's going to happen. And yeah, Blue's going to lose that Treb. And then Red's still going to have more Trebs. And Red's making 30 skirms. This is crazy, man. This is insane. Is this going to just continue forever? It really seems like it comes down to the Trebs, though. And if it does, I prefer Japanese. Is Blue ever going to attack Red's base? Is that where he's going now? Oh, he could just kill everything. Just take a house out, run in. There's no defense here. Red's going to have enough skirms to kill off the Mangudai now because, again, it's just the numbers. And Red's villagers are now completing the wall that guy placed in Dark Age. I hate it when that happens where they want to build the next thing. Okay, Blue, you can go after the house here, okay? Houses are so much more vulnerable than stone walls. You can do it. But I don't think he wants to show himself yet. Unfortunately for him, he has, because he's distracted here. And here comes Red, CaptOblivious! Did he take out the castle this time? There is another onager on the way from Blue. Okay. By the way, blue's taking out these buildings finally. They've been here for a while. Okay. Treb's unpacked pretty quickly. You think the castle will go down here. Blue is not paying attention to that, but we'll be through in a moment. Castle's down. All right. This game is so close. It's such a grind. Red doesn't notice this. Both players are looking here right now. Oh, big onager shots. Big onager shots again. Oh, this is not getting any better for Red. And if he doesn't have the skirms, the Mangudai could take out his trebs. He's got to be careful. I think he's using his trebs against that onager right now. If Blue would just run in. Oh, God. Trebs MVP. Let's go. If Blue would just run into Red's base right now, it would be so devastating to Red. Holy cow. Okay, onager goes down. Not seeing any more siege workshops for Blue. And Blue calls it! Blue resigns! Ah! Because Red was forcing the issue and he was taking out the castles and he was denying the strengths of the Mongols. Blue just calls it. And it's going to be a frustrating one for Blue to see. Because Blue, you know, you could have made your life a little bit easier had you, run in through this house. You probably didn't notice that. And Red didn't notice it either. So they just completely forgot about that. So we know potential for damage was there. We know there's potential for more. You could also make your own skirms, maybe. But there is a point, guys, in these games where sometimes if you make it hard enough for your opponent, they're just going to be like, I would rather... They won't... No one thinks about it this way, but this is essentially what goes on in someone's mind. The game gets hard enough, even if it's winnable, they will say it's not even worth the win and just call the GG or leave, right? This is too difficult. This is too frustrating. This is too annoying. Whatever it is, they just, I just can't do it. I got to play a new game. I got to start over. I got to go watch T90, cast Lowy the Legends, and then type out how that game was winnable, even though when I'm in the game, I would rather resign. That's what some people end up doing. And so very well played to Red. There were many aspects of Red's play that were unique, which is what I like in Lowy the Legends. The forward barracks into partial Stonewall. I mean, I guess it's Blue's fault that it was partial. Maybe Red would have had a bigger plan if the Stonewall happened. That was unique. Just the sheer army composition from Red was unique. But I really like the Cats of Peruto. I really like the forward castles and the recognition you can't play defensive castles against the Mongols. You need to use these castles as weapons, guys. This castle here, 23 kills, probably mostly on Mangudai. This castle here, 6, probably the same. And Blue just really struggled to be able to expand. Some tips for Blue, though. Again, this could have worked, right? Like, this, you probably didn't even realize it because you probably just sat your army here, but you were through. Camping army here takes out a lot of Red's eco and takes his attention away from the front of your base. That is something that could have happened earlier. So, could have happened at a point when you still had your castle and you still had your siege workshop, right? So counterattacks were a pretty big thing. Houses, remember, are always very vulnerable in late game. While they might not be in feudal age. And other tips for you would be, I mean, you seem like you understand the Mongols quite well with Onager and Elite Mangudai. But the other thing you don't want to forget about is the Hussar, right? Because the enemy was making primarily skirmishers and trebs. Hussar only costs food. You have more HP with the Mongols. And you can go in against the skirms and trebs pretty easily. Sad to see you've collected more resources and still lost the game, but Red was able to take good engagements. And again, just like make the game more difficult for Blue. So, good Lowy the Legend game. Bit of a grind, man. It really felt like the big wood lines and the walls just made it very awkward for these guys to get to certain positions, right? Like, Blue's trebs, like over here and over here, good examples of it. Just felt like this wood line in general and this area being walled just really made it difficult for Blue. And if the map's more open too, right? Like then the Mongols with their speed can like run around, kind of choose positions. But Yucatan's rather closed, which really benefited Red here because he had enough presence here all the time where Blue just had to defend. He didn't think there was any avenues for attack, and so he had to react constantly. Anyways, GG. Japanese OP in this matchup, just like I said at the start of the game. And Certainly was a comfort pick there for Captain Oblivious. Congratulations, man. 2-1 KD and still losing the game. Oh man, those stats are so sad. Actually resigned with more population. Oh, this is even worse than I thought. So we resigned with more population, a 2-1 KD, collected 15,000 resources more, was faster to Feudal, Castle, and Imp. Well, he wasn't the fastest out of these two, apparently, but yeah, some stats that certainly will keep Blue up at night.